Good morning, Ron.
Good morning. How are you? Hey,
All right, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
How you doing, Ron?
Good morning.
Morning.
Give me a second. I got old man eyes. I gotta squint a little bit sometimes to see.
And I don't believe we need any interpreters today.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay. Also, Your Honor, we have a couple of I guess you could say suicide inmates, also a little demented
Okay.
up there in our main holding. So we're gonna, if we could we do them first?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I'll do whatever makes the process go smoothly. Can you tell me those individuals so I can pull their paperwork out?
Yes, sir. It's going to be Philip Daly.
Okay.
He's going to be autistic, so I don't believe he's going to be capable of answering any questions that you ask.
Okay.
Then you have Timothy Mincy.
Okay.
You have Christopher Muffet, Kenneth Pack,
Okay.
Jennifer Peppers, and Philip Thompson.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what happened last night?
I don't know. But you
Okay,
want,
so those are the individuals you want to do first.
yes, sir. And two of them, the Philip Daly subject, I know he's autistic, so like I said, he's probably not going to be able to answer none of your questions.
Okay.
As well as another individual, I'm unsure his name right now, but he's probably not going to be able to answer none of your questions as well. I wrote on top of the paperwork, unable to fill out. So them two are the ones that probably not going to be answering none of your questions.
Okay. So are the individuals that you named, are they all in the same location?
Yes, sir. They're all in main holding.
Okay, so I can speak to them all at one time? Or do I need to speak to them individually?
Maybe individually, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can get started with them, and I can just go through them and you know, we'll work it out.
Okay. Hey, Turner, the judge is gonna I guess he's gonna go ahead and start with the script, then he's gonna do the 6 individuals you got up there main court holding first.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So I'll start with the script and then we'll go up to the people in main holding.
Yeah, you can bring her out. With 1 to 7. Jan, you can go ahead and go with the script. They're out.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case. I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your own behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of your case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post a bond, the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime has occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Finally, I need everyone to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, let's start over in Central Holding. And I'll just let you give me the names of the individuals, and then I will pull out their paperwork.
I have
Go ahead, Tom.
Peppers in front of you.
I'm sorry?
Peppers, last name Peppers.
Okay. Ms. Peppers, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting and 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, specifically possession of methamphetamine. I'm gonna set your total bond at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Please, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date that's gonna be set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes? Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir.
Did you say no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Daily,
Okay.
daily would it be? Your Honor, we have Mr. Philip Daly coming.
Okay.
Your Honor, that's the one I advise you. They're probably not gonna understand what you're talking
Okay.
about.
Mr. Daly, good morning, sir. You've been charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting. You're gonna have a bond set at $2,000. Do you believe you can pay that bond?
Yes.
Okay, you're also gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th. But if you post your bond, that date will get waived and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you understand that? Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, Mr. Daly?
Yes.
Okay. Are you currently working, Mr. Daly? Did you say no? Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, Mr. Daly, and I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you, okay? Do you have any questions of me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Daly.
You can get Timothy Mincy.
Written.
Yeah, Mincy.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Mincy. Who's Mr. Mincy? Come here. Let me know. Hold on.
Mr. Timothy Mincy.
Okay. Mr. Mincy, you've been charged with 1 count of giving a false name. I'm going to set the bond at $2,000 for that. Can you pay that bond, sir? Mr. Mincy?
Hey, John, I believe he's the other one that's that I advise that's autistic as well.
Right.
Not autistic, no.
Oh, you gotta speak up so he can hear
I'm
you.
not autistic though. That's false. That autistic is false.
Okay, Mr. Mincy, can you hear me, sir? Mr. Mincy, do you want to respond to me?
Yeah, I can pay the bond. I'm not autistic. Yeah.
Okay, so when I ask you a question, Mr. Mincy, it's really important that you answer my questions, okay? Do you understand that? Do you not want to answer my questions, Mr. Mincy?
Answer your questions.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Do you want to represent yourself? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Right.
Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Mincy?
No, no questions. No.
Okay. I'm going to appoint you a lawyer, Mr. Mincy, and you can choose to represent yourself if you want to, okay? All right, you're free to go back, Mr. Mincy.
We get Christopher Moffitt. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's Mr. Moffitt, Your Honor.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Mr. Moffitt, you've been charged with 1 count of hit and run, meaning leaving the scene of an accident. You're gonna have a bond set at $1,500. Can you pay that bond, sir?
Sir, I did not hit and run, but I can try to pay that bond though.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, you can give me a lawyer and can you call my parents? Oh,
Okay, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you, Mr. Moffitt. When this whole thing is over and you go back, you're gonna be allowed to use a phone so you can call your parents.
yeah, cause that's all I need, cause I would have been out of jail. It just,
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna have a court date that's gonna be set for May 11th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. And deputies, if at all possible, could you assist Mr. Moffitt in being able to contact his parents?
Yes, we'll let the house unit know that he needs to make a phone call, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go back, Mr. Moffitt.
Your Honor, I believe the reason he hasn't used the phone yet is because he's in suicide watch.
And that's fine. I mean, I know you guys have to do what you have to do. But
Yeah, like that. It's not right there. This is Mr. Kenneth Pack, Your Honor.
okay. Mr. Pack, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting. The bond is gonna be set automatically at $2,000. Do you believe you can pay that bond, sir?
Not at this present time.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, I would like to bring up a find a criminal
This
trespass.
is not what you talk about the facts of your case. You actually need a lawyer.
Yes, lawyer.
Okay. Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Pack. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Pack?
Yes, sir. Is the only way I can find out today?
Yes, you will. If you can post your bond, you'll be able to bond out today.
To make a long story short, I got about $3,200 Social Security dollars saved up. I will have to get in contact with mother first. Anyway, I'm homeless. I got responsibilities to get on my medicine.
Oh, okay. You will be allowed to use the phone after this whole proceeding's over. But it's going to be as it relates to the sheriff's department's policies. So I can't tell you when, but you will be able to reach out to people that can assist you. Okay. All right. You're free to go back. Ms. Tolles, I see that you're here. I was informed that we do not need your services today.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's fine. You have a good day. It's good to see you.
You too, take care.
Okay.
And last, we have Mr. Philip Thompson, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Thompson, you were charged with, it looks like 3 drug-related offenses, 1 driving offense, and 1 charge of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. You're going to have a total bond that's going to be set at $17,000. Do you believe you can pay that bond, sir?
Sir.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Thompson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
I believe that I already had a lawyer, but I wasn't sure. That's why I was asking about if I qualify. So if I do have one already, does that matter? Anyway,
So,
that works.
was it a lawyer that you paid or is a lawyer that was appointed?
Paid personally. My mother got me a lawyer.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer here because you qualify, but you don't have to use that lawyer. You can use the lawyer your mother has hired, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions?
Oh, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, that's it for the people in main court holding, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Turner, did you get my message?
Yes, I'm clear on it.
All right, cool.
All right, let's go over to the ladies' side.
Okay, Your Honor, the first we have Miss Alfaro.
Good morning.
Morning.
You've been charged with 2 counts of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $2,000 each. So that's a total bond of $4,000. Do you believe you can pay that bond?
Yes.
Okay. I've also placed a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Raheem Gilbert. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Miss Al. It's Alfaro. Alfredo?
Alfaro.
Alfaro. You do qualify, Ms. Alfaro. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
I do. The place of my residence where I reside at, with me and my children on the lease, if he's there, I cannot go there, but I'm on the lease. He's not on the lease.
So this is, it says that it's family violence and that he lived there. And so my hands are kind of tied as a judge. I can't evict a victim, an alleged victim. So the best way that I explain it is like, if you and I were married and it was my house and I got arrested for attacking you, the judge couldn't force you out of the house because of that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. I just thought about what you said. The domestic violence wasn't between me and Raheem Gilbert. It was between me and my 17-year-old daughter, Aaliyah Gilbert.
So what is written up here is that there are 2 counts of criminal trespass against Raheem Gilbert. And so criminal trespass in Georgia can be completed in a couple different ways. One is you're at a place where you're not supposed to be or not allowed to be. Another way that it can be completed is depriving someone of personal property, or depriving them of the use of property. So in this particular instance, they've alleged that you changed the locks on a door, thereby depriving Mr. Gilbert of the opportunity to come back into the residence. And the second way that they've alleged it is that you took Mr. Gilbert's personal property, and it looks like you said you put it in a van and drove it away from the residence. So the way that it's being written up here is that you are alleged to have deprived Mr. Gilbert of 1, the residence, and 2, of his personal belongings. So there's nothing in here about a child or anything else.
Okay.
So what you're gonna have to do is, when you bond out, you're gonna have to make arrangements with the sheriff's department to be able to go back to the residence and get some of your items so that you can have, the ability to live. If Mr. Gilbert contacts the prosecutor and says, look, I'm not afraid of Miss Alfaro, and she can come back, then this bond condition can be changed. But as sort of a policy thing, what we do is when these types of incidents happen, we place a stay away provision on it because we don't know what happened. And we don't know whatever happened that led you to be before me to flare back up once you bond back out. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Here you are. The next is going to be Ms. Hopkins.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Ms. Hopkins.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault and 1 count of battery. Because you don't have a extensive criminal history, I'm able to set bond on this aggravated assault charge. But I've set the bond at $20,000, and I've set the bond on the battery at $5,000. So there's a total bond of $25,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I've also placed a stay away provision on the, I think it's Dungelia Williams.
Yes, yes,
Do you, okay, do you understand the stay away provision?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you will get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, you do qualify, Ms. Hoskins. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is Miss Manning.
Good morning, ma'am. You've been charged with one count of reckless conduct. I've set the bond at $2,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're also going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Are you currently working, Miss Manning?
No.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Miss Mason. That's fine.
Ms. Mason, you've been charged with 3 driving related offenses and 1 count of giving a false name, address, and date of birth. You're gonna have a total bond set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes. But I'm here for probation too, so yes.
Okay. You're gonna have a court date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning, but that court date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. You'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Mason. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is Miss Mosley. Don't let her go.
Ms. Mosley, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and 1 count of an open container violation. You're going to have a total bond set at $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. But that court date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
I'm kind of confused because the officers didn't give me a lot of information when I was asking them questions last night.
Okay, what's your question?
So the person who owned the car was with me, and I was asking them like, why did I get the gun charge if that was hers and not mine? And they wouldn't tell me, they just said, that's what you got, that charge.
Did they also arrest the person that you were with?
No, sir.
So officers have wide discretion in charging, but these are mere allegations. They have to prove these beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's why we go through this process of appointing lawyers as soon as possible so that an investigation can get started and you can defend yourself. So there could be, you know, situations with your particular case where these charges are dropped.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Next is Ms. Sam.
Okay. Ms. Sims, you've been charged with 1 driving-related offense and 2 drug-related offenses. You're gonna have a total bond set at $3,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Ms. Sims. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, doctor.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Next is Ms. Trice.
Ms. Trice, you've been charged with 3 driving-related offenses. Driving under the influence of alcohol, open container, and parking in a prohibited space. You're gonna have a total bond set at $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Trice, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, you are free to go back.
Okay, Your Honor, that's it for the female.
Okay, thank you for your assistance. Have a good day.
Yes, sir, you as well.
Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Brewer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, you've been charged with 2 counts of criminal trespass and 1 count of obstructing an officer. You're gonna have a total bond set at $6,000 on these 3 offenses. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're gonna also have a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Anna Brewer and Johnny Germany. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Brewer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go. Yes, sir.
The bond was set 6,000.
Yes, sir. It's $2,000 for each count.
Fine.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Come on. Go right up. Go right up. You didn't like that.
Are you Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brooks, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license and 1 count of improper turn, meaning looks like changing lanes without a signal. You're gonna have a total bond set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No.
Okay, you're gonna represent yourself or hire your own lawyer?
I'm gonna represent myself.
Okay, if you don't have any questions for me, Mr. Brooks, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown, you've been charged with 3 drug-related offenses, 2 driving offenses, and 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. You're gonna have a total bond set at $18,500. Do you believe you can post that bond? You said no? Or did you say yes? Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Brown. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
How you doing?
Good morning. Are you Mr. Bryant? Mr. Bryant, you've been charged with four drug-related offenses and 1 count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. You're gonna have a total bond set at $23,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon you bonding out and you get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I believe I have a lawyer, sir.
Okay, who's your lawyer?
I don't know the name off the top because it's from I think it's like I don't know the name, sir.
Okay, that's fine. I just asked because I normally put it on the form, but if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't have any questions for me, Mr. Bryant, you're free to go back.
You have a good one, all right?
You too. Are you Mr. Chavis?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. You're charged with 1 count of simple assault. I've set the bond at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Mamadou Ba. Do you understand that? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Chavis? Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. If you don't have any questions based upon what I just told you, you are free to go back. Are you Mr. Coates?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Coates, you've been charged with 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the state, 3 driving related offenses. You're gonna have a total bond set at $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that court date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Coates. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Cole? Okay, Mr. Cole, you've been charged with 1 count of trafficking and marijuana. You don't have a criminal history, so I've set the bond at $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry? You
Yes,
said
sir.
yes? You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you will get a new court date in the mail. Now, do you plan on, well, looks like you make a little bit too much for me to appoint a lawyer. So do you plan on hiring your own lawyer? Okay, do you have any questions of me, Mr. Cole?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Cooks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Cooks, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license, 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, and 1 count of having an inoperable brake light. You're gonna have a total bond set at $12,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that court date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, you do qualify, Mr. Cooks. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Is it?
Victor DiGritola.
Okay, Mr. DiGritola. You've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I placed a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Suzanne Jones, but it appears she's your neighbor. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
So do you believe that you can avoid having direct contact with her?
Yes, it would be very easy.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived and you'll get a new court date in the mail upon bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'll hire my own lawyer.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Not at this time.
Okay, you're free to go back. You're Mr. Fletcher? Okay. Mr. Fletcher, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, 1 count of possession or use of drug-related objects, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. You're gonna have a total bond set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't have any questions for me, Mr. Fletcher, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Hope?
Right.
Mr. Hope, you're charged with 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, 1 count of having an inoperable brake light, and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. You're gonna have a total bond set at $22,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes?
No.
Okay, you're gonna hire your own lawyer or you're gonna represent yourself?
I'm representing me.
Okay. If you don't have any questions for me, Mr. Hope, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Humphrey? Okay, Mr. Humphrey, you've been charged with 2 driving-related offenses and 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. You're gonna have a total bond set at $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Did you say yes? Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Humphrey. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
You already know who that lawyer is. I gave information.
Because of the felony charge, you're going to be sent to the Clayton County Public Defender's Office. So I don't know what lawyer will be assigned, but it'll be that office. If you don't hear from the lawyer from that office in a couple days, I would give them a call. Okay? Huh? I'm sorry?
I get the number from you. Would I get it from one of the officers?
They have the number in the jail, I believe. Deputies, is that correct? You have the number for the public defender's office?
I'm sure they do, Your Honor. We'll get it for them.
Okay, they'll give it to you, sir. All right, you're free. I'm sorry?
No more questions.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Humphrey.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good morning. Are you Mr. Johnson? Okay, Mr. Johnson, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license and 2 drug-related offenses. I've set a total bond at $21,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
How much again?
I'm sorry?
How much my bond again?
It's going to be a total bond of $21,500, and it'll be a little bit higher than that because the sheriff's department is required by law to add fees to the bond, so it'll be a little bit higher. Okay, you're free to go back, sir. Tell me your name, sir.
Robert Kirkland.
Okay, Mr. Kirkland, you've been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of battery, 1 count of criminal trespass, and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I am not allowed by law to set bond on the aggravated assault charge at this time because of your prior arrest on an aggravated assault charge or prior conviction. But I have set bonds on the other offenses at $5,000 each. I've placed a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Travis Kirkland. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for you for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. I'm also setting a bond hearing date of May 14th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, Mr. Kirkland. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
You said my bond like 15,000 each?
Yes, but I could not set a bond on the aggravated assault charge. So it really doesn't matter as right now as it relates to the other offenses, but I have set bond. Now, this is something that your lawyer can possibly get the district attorney's office to agree to a bond on. I just can't set bond for this at this stage, okay? Do you have any other questions for me, sir? All right, you're free to go back.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Are you Mr. McCormick?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. McCormick, you've been charged with one count of giving tobacco to inmates. You have a bond set at $5,000. This is a felony offense. You're gonna have a court date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you believe you can pay this $5,000 bond? Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, Mr. McCormick. I am going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
So the bond 5,000?
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You Mr. McNeil? Okay, Mr. McNeil, you have been charged with 2 aggravated assault counts. 1 count of criminal trespass, 2 counts of cruelty to children, and a 3rd degree, and 1 count of battery. I also am not allowed to set bail on the 2 aggravated assault charges at this time, but I have set bail on the other offenses. So you're gonna have a total bond on the other offenses of $17,000. There's gonna be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Gloria McNeil. Do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
You are going to have a court date set for May 12th, a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th. That date will get waived if you're able to bond out before then. I'm also going to set a bond hearing date for May 14th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah, you can. I'll probably need it now.
Well, it says here that you earn $10,000 a month. So I can't appoint, you're above the threshold for me to be able to appoint a lawyer. So you're gonna have to either hire your own lawyer or represent yourself.
Well, if I have to stay here till May, Your Honor, I won't be able to make that kind of money anymore. I'll lose my job. So.
Okay, so I'll appoint a lawyer for you now, Mr. McNeil, so that we're not gonna have you just sitting here doing dead time. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
You said $17,000 is the bond?
Well, but yes, for the ones that I was able to set bond on, but I cannot set bond on the 2 aggravated assault charges.
Okay, so when will that bond hearing be available for me?
Right now it's set for May 14th at 8:30 in the morning, but that does not mean that your lawyer can't negotiate with the prosecutor before then to get you a bond.
All right.
Okay, any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Morrow?
How you doing?
Mr. Morrow, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $2,000 for that. Do you believe you can pay that bond, sir? I'm also putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Shakira Wilson. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sir.
You said no? Okay, you're gonna hire your own lawyer? Okay, if you don't have any questions for me, Mr. Morrow, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Raymond? Okay, Mr. Raymond, you've been charged with 1 count of driving under the influence, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects. You're gonna have a total bond set at $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Are you planning on hiring your own lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Yeah, I wish my counsel could have been present during this time. I'd like to ask you if you can motion for habeas corpus.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Motion for habeas corpus.
All I understood was habeas corpus.
Pardon me, sir?
I said, all I understood was habeas corpus. That's not a question, that's a statement.
I was asking if we could motion for habeas corpus.
I don't believe you have grounds, but under what grounds would you file a motion for habeas corpus?
Under what ground?
Yes.
For one, I asked for a CIT before, you know, I was.
What is a CIT?
One of those, you know, like special officers, certified officer in training, or whatever. Like a certified, what you call them, technicians? What's CIT officer? They train to do, you know.
Oh, you're talking about a SRT, like an officer that's trained to do a DUI?
No, I said CIT.
Okay, well, I don't know what a CIT is. I've been practicing law for more than 20 years. I don't know what a CIT is.
Okay. Well, another thing, I've been asking to see a doctor since I got down here. And I haven't had that.
Okay, so sir, you can make the request and then they will respond to your request as it relates to what they, you know, their policies and what's going on. This isn't sort of a situation where you're at a hotel, right? So that you just call the room service and you say, I want something, and you get it. They will respond to you, okay? So let me explain to you what a writ of habeas corpus is. Writ of habeas corpus, it basically means to produce the body. It means you're saying you're being held somewhere illegally or improperly. You got 2 ways that you can do that. You can do it under a bond circumstance where you're denied bond, and you can file a writ of habeas corpus to the Georgia Supreme Court saying, I'm being held illegally. You have a bond set, so you're not being held without a bond. You also can say that I've been convicted of a crime and I'm being held illegally. I want to come and have a court review my conviction because I'm being held illegally. You're not convicted of a crime, okay? All right, Mr. Raymond,
Can I see a doctor?
are you sure you don't want me to appoint you a lawyer?
I can get one.
Oh, okay. All right, you're free to go back, Mr. Raymond. So Mr. Romero is OTB?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stockstill, you're charged with 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects, and 1 count of criminal trespass. You're gonna have a total bond set at $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? Okay. Yes, sir.
I was coming up the road, I pulled in the driveway, we're not gonna do it. How's that criminal trespassing?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you, sir.
And I saw a roadblock going up, so I pulled in the driveway. I went knocking on the door. I get charged with criminal trespassing. There's no sign that says criminal trespassing or anything like that. They're not going in the yard. How am I charged with?
So I do understand what you're saying. It's a right now these are mere allegations, and so the basis of your charges, as I recall them, is that they had a roadblock and they evidently believe that you were trying to avoid the roadblock by pulling into that house. So let me stop you, Mr. Stockstill. I don't know if that's true or not. The state has the obligation and the burden of proving that beyond a reasonable doubt. So just because you've been charged with this doesn't mean you're guilty of it. That's why we go through this process of, if you need a lawyer, appointing a lawyer to you as quickly as possible so you can go about defending yourself. Okay?
If they don't find anything on me or on my purse or in my truck or anything, they find something.
No, and the allegation was that they found drug-related paraphernalia under a car. And again, the state has the burden of proving that. Like, you can be arrested for anything, but it doesn't mean you're guilty of it. Okay? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th on these charges at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Stockstill. So I'll appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Taylor. You have been charged with every misdemeanor in the book, so you must have upset somebody. My job is to set a bond on these offenses, and I believe, let me count it up again. By adding up all of these charges, you're going to have a total bond set at $9,000. You've been charged with 12 driving related offenses. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Did you say no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, you do qualify, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Taylor also?
Yes, sir.
You've been charged with one count of window tint violation and one count of driving without a license. You're going to have a total bond set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 11th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Sure.
All right, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Mr. Zellers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with one count of terroristic threats or acts and one count of disorderly conduct. I'm going to set your total bond at $5,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Michael Bell. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I'm not sure who Michael Bell is, though.
Okay, Michael Bell is the
Yes.
person that they allege that you threatened. So the fact that you don't know that person will make it easy for you to stay away from that person. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. The terroristic threats or acts charge is a felony offense. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, Mr. Zellers? You do qualify, sir, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
That's it.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Oh, Your Honor.
Okay, I had an email about an add-on of a Gary Jackson.
An email?
Yeah, from Miss Bernie this morning. He apparently is in custody and has other charges.
You got an LE number?
Yes, 174-1407.
174.
1407.
Yes, sir.
Let me look about that.
The first one's the one.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Your Honor, he's on his way. Just give us about 5 more minutes.
That's fine. Good morning. Good afternoon. You Mr. Jackson?
Sure.
Mr. Jackson, I understand that you're being held here on other charges. Is that true?
I'm not aware of it, but yes.
Okay, I received 2 warrants this morning that were apparently drawn out on March 16th. And it does not appear that you have been arraigned on those charges or had a first appearance on those charges. It's a criminal damage to property and an escape charge. And the allegation is that on March 4th, that you were attempting to flee custody from the police and that you hit a car. Does that ring a bell to you?
No, sir, it does not.
Do you live in Jonesboro?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
So, I'm sorry?
I've been moving around since I got back from Texas, so I've been here at different people's houses. I don't have a stationary home, sir.
Okay, so what are you being held here on now?
I got to argue with my baby mama, and the police locked me up for running from them. And what was it? They said I did destruction of property on the police. I never got my paperwork when I came in here, so I really don't even know most of my charges I'm charged on, sir.
Okay, when did you get arrested? Or when did you come into the jail?
On the 5th or 4th.
Of March?
No. Yeah. January, February, March. Yes, of March.
Okay, so you've been here approximately what, 20 days, 21 days?
Yes, sir. 22 days, yes.
Okay. Have you been before a judge yet?
Yes, sir.
And do you know what date that was?
No, they didn't give us no information on it.
No, I'm saying, do you know what day you went before a judge?
Probably the day after I came into jail, which was probably on the 5th or 6th. I went to first appearance.
Okay. So do you remember if it was a Friday or a Saturday?
I cannot.
Okay. So it's been brought to my attention that you may not have had a judge go before a judge on these 2 charges. The 2 charges I have before me are criminal damage to property and escape, and they're both from March 4th.
I went to court for those already.
Okay, and did you have a bond set on those offenses?
Sir.
Do you remember the bond?
It was 14,000, 13,000, one of those 2.
Okay, so a total bond of like 13, 14,000? Okay. So what I'm gonna do, Mr. Jackson, is I'm going to look into this, but I was informed that you may not have, or it may not be entered into the system correctly. So just so that we're not jerking you around, what I have before me are 2 warrants that were taken out on March 16th.
How, when I'm incarcerated?
And I'm just saying, the warrants were taken out on March 16th, but it reflects events that took place on March 4th.
I went to court for those already.
And no, and that's what I understand from you. So just so you understand, we don't want people just sitting in jail who haven't gone before a judge. And if someone sees a notification that you didn't go before a judge, then they'll bring you down. So from speaking to you, it sounds like that you've already gone before a judge and it just may be an error.
Sure.
Okay. So what I'll do is I will look into this, and we'll see. I don't recall. If it was on the 5th, you would have gone before me. If it was the 6th, you would have gone before Judge Knights. Was it a male judge that you went before?
Male, I believe it was you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. If you indulge me for 1 second.
It was on a Friday or Saturday?
If it was Friday, it was me. If it was Saturday, it was Judge Knight. He was doing the first appearance on those dates, or that date. Sorry.
I mean, it was Friday, to be honest with you.
No, you were not. You were not on my calendar on the 5th. I don't have a Gary Jackson.
I know I went to first appearance though, the day after I came in here.
Okay. So just so you know, this is not like a where somebody's trying to jam you up. We're trying to make sure that you're not jammed up.
That's how I feel. They've been trying to tell me this for the past 3 days, and I've been denying it. Like, no, they trying to give me somebody trying to give me extra charges, and someone's not doing their job.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it in that way.
I've been here for a month, and new charges come up here. I'm like, how'd that come?
Well, so just so you understand, at this initial stage, if a police officer came to me and said, I want charges against Gary Jackson because he did X, Y, and Z, and they swear on the oath that you did X, Y, and Z, and it fits the elements of a crime, my job is not to try your case at that point. Okay? My job is to issue the warrant so that you can have these allegations properly vetted.
I'm supposed to have a court date on the 19th of next month.
Okay. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna look one more place. Is your middle name Jermaine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you appeared before Judge Knights on March 6th. And 6263. So these two warrants were not on that calendar. So these two charges were added afterwards. Okay? So you had 3 charges on, no, I'm sorry. You had 1, 2, 3 charges on the 6th.
They told me 6 charges that day.
So there are 4 on the calendar. So, but these are, yeah. So it looks like you have these 2 additional charges that were brought before Judge Knight on the 16th. So these are 2 new charges that you have not been arraigned on. Okay. Let me look at your bond order. Give it a second, it'll print out. So what I've done, Mr. Jackson, is on these 2 warrants, I have 2 warrants pending before me, and it's not showing on the thing, but I'm setting a $5,000 and a $2,000 bond on the $5,000 on the criminal damage to property and $2,000 on the escape. And I'm just doing that so that we're just not here just talking all day. But I'll do further digging on this. And if you have already had bond set on those charges, then I won't add this on.
I mean,
okay?
I'm not understanding. Like, I mean, it sounds like you're adding them on, but unsure what's going on.
No, what I'm seeing is that you have not been arraigned on these 2 charges. You're telling me that you have been arraigned on these 2 charges. So what I'm doing, so this is how I'm trying to help you out, Mr. Jackson. These 2 charges are showing in the system as not, sorry. These 2 charges are showing in the system as you not being arraigned on them. So what that means is that if you were to post bond, you wouldn't get out because it will be showing that you have 2 charges that have not been dealt with. So do you want to sit here, make bond, and then still sit here? Or do you want me to try to help you out?
Man, I understand what you're doing, sir. Thank you. You're helping me out.
Okay, so the bond order that you have from the 6th only shows 4 charges. It doesn't mean that Judge Knights didn't do a separate bond order or anything like that. The information that I got from the Sheriff's Department, and they were doing you a favor to add you on. That's why you're down here now, because they were looking in their system and saying, hey, this guy doesn't look like he has a bond on these charges. So they're trying to help you out. And then they asked me if I would add you on.
Yes, sir.
So we're trying to help you out, Mr. Jackson. We're not trying to jam you up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from what I see from the bond order from the 6th, there are only 4 charges: battery, obstructing an officer, a second battery, and interference with government property. Those were written by the officer at the time of your arrest. It looks like an officer came back on March 16th and added or asked the judge to issue warrants for your arrest on criminal damage to property. And it says that the allegation is that while trying to flee from the police, you ran into a Honda Accord driven by Contressa Oliver and caused more than $500 in damage. That's how it becomes a felony.
So the police hit me, yeah. The police-
So, right. So that's how it is. So I'm gonna add these two bond amounts, and I'm gonna have to do a special bond for you because they've added you on. Okay. So that'll at least allow you to be able to post bond and get out. Okay. So this has been sort of truncated. Like I normally read a whole script to you, but you've already gone before Judge Knights on March 6th. Do you have any questions about this process of what just happened?
I want to know how many of them are felons. How many felon charges are there?
It looks like the only felony is the criminal damage to property.
That's the only one? That's a felon?
That is a felony, yes.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Because they say the amount of damage is more than $500. If they say the damage is less than $500, that makes it a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So any other questions, Mr. Jackson?
What's my total bond amount?
So it looks like from what I'm seeing, you had, when you appeared before Judge Knights, it was 13,000 without the fees that were added. So with my adding of the 5 and the 2, that makes it a $20,000 bond.
20,000.
Okay.
Sir.
Any other questions, Mr. Jackson?
No, sir. Thank you. You've been very helpful, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you for your help, and you have a good day. Sorry it took so long.
Thank you.